Hello and welcome to Zoom In. This is where we zoom into different conversations about people's lives during this COVID-19 season. How are you doing? What is going on in your life? We just like to check up on each and every person on different aspects of their lives, and we're praying that God is keeping you safe and sound and all is well with you right now. And my name is Caroline Muche. I'm the host today. The actual host for this show could not make it, but I'm here stepping in actually. Yes. And stepping up. Yes, my guest is actually saying stepping up actually works as well. Yes, so I know you're wondering, what are we talking about today? Well, today we have a very interesting topic, surviving COVID-19. Yes, I am going to interview someone who had COVID-19 and she's going to share her experience with us, and we're going to learn so much from her. So my guest today is none other than Mrs. Apondi Nyangaya. I hope I got that right.
Yes, you did.
Yes. She says, first of all, she is a grandmother. Yeah. So even as you listen to her today, note that she's the first generation of three. Yes, she's a grandmother. She is a stay-at-home host, and she's a social development consultant. So she wears a lot of shoes, and she's a powerful woman of God. And I pray that you'll be blessed by her sharing with us today. Yeah. So hello.
Hi. How are you, Carol? I'm
good. And how are you?
I'm doing very good. It's a beautiful afternoon in Nairobi. I'm actually in Kajiado County, and it's beautiful. It's a shiny day. And
nice.
I needed the sun. Yes, I needed the sun today. Yes.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I hear it's been pretty cold. I'm in Kisumu right now, and Kisumu does not know what cold is.
Oh, you are in Kisumu.
Yes, the Hope Channel branch in Kisumu.
Okay.
Yeah.
All along I thought you were in Nairobi.
Nope, Kisumu is the place to be.
Kisumu City. Well, Kajiado is pretty nice too.
We'll consider.
Right. Yes.
We'll consider that. Anyway, yes. So we are talking about surviving COVID-19, and yes. You happened to experience that. We are so eager to know, how was your experience? How did you even get it? And
yes.
Just share with us your story, so that someone out there will be encouraged. So maybe to start us off, yeah, how was your life before getting COVID-19?
Is that the life during the COVID-19 period, as soon as it was announced that COVID-19 was in Kenya? Is that what you're asking? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Caroline, it's interesting. As soon as it was announced that there was COVID-19 in Kenya, because I live in Kajiado County, specifically in Ongata Rongai, where the first case came from, and specifically in Ole Kasasi, where that first case came from. It was rather shaking. As soon as we heard that there was COVID-19 in Kenya and that the first person came from Ole Kasasi, I called my daughter who lives in Loresho, and I told her I didn't want her to come anywhere near Ongata Rongai, and she mustn't bring my grandchildren to this area, because I just thought, we live to see 1,000 generations come from us, and that's the blessing that Yahweh gives us.
Yes.
I don't want my grandchildren to be exposed to COVID-19. So that's one of the first things that happened. The other thing that happened is even before COVID-19 came into Kenya, we had already seen the announcement and there was a lot of conversation around COVID-19. And so realized sunshine was important. So we moved our dining table outside.
Ah.
Yes, so that the family, we are blessed enough to have a garden where we could move outside. So the family could operate outside. And so we spent our days outside. And then the other thing that happened is as soon as it was announced that there was COVID-19 in Kenya, I and my sister, we quarantined our household. What's the word? We locked down. We locked down our home. My sister lives in the neighborhood and she's just got one child. But my household had already had 5 people. And so we thought it would be very lonely for them just being in their house. And so we invited them to come and live with us so that we could lock down. And we started making masks, my sister and I, because we realized people will need masks. So we started making masks.
Wow.
And, yes, we created a design and started making masks and selling them. And where people were selling 1 mask for 1,000 shillings, we were selling 3 for 100 shillings. Yes, because we said, let's go into ministry. It's not a time to get rich. This is a time to minister. This is a time to make sure that Kenyans are able to be protected. So we always had a mask on, but we also sold masks to our neighbors and people in our WhatsApp group. We actually sold a large number of masks because some people would order like 600 masks and we'd sell very many masks. And we didn't make a profit. Imagine, even selling them at 100 bob for 3 pieces, we didn't make a profit. And we washed our hands. We got disinfectant. We disinfected the house. I developed a protocol where anybody who went outside and came back into the house would take off their clothes before touching anything, get into the bathroom. Those clothes would be put either into the laundry basket, and if it's something that's not about to be washed, like a leather jacket, we would hang it out in the sun for 3 days.
What?
Yes. And you had to wash your hair, and if you went outside, you had to cover your hair. You also had to wear glasses apart from your mask so that your eyes were not exposed to the virus.
What?
Yes.
That's intense.
That's very intense. I didn't want my family to get the virus. And then I also developed a morning prayer session where I would walk around in the compound and speak away COVID-19 from the compound, from my gates. I would pray and speak the Holy Spirit to cover the space instead, and the compound be clean of COVID-19. I did speak directly to COVID-19 and tell COVID-19, you are all right to be here. We are the children of Yahweh.
Yes.
You have no right in this space. Yes.
Wow, that is powerful. Wow, and after doing all that.
after doing all that, and then another thing that happened that I think is very interesting is I was the still small voice, that's the Holy Spirit. The still small voice told me that there is so much fortifying food in my compound, and that the leaves of the fruits that are planted in my compound are actually foods that help to build up the body's immune system and ability to fight. And I knew it was time to build us up. And so I started making tea out of hibiscus. We used to drink chai, with milk. But then I put aside the milk. I said, no, this is not a time for milk. And we started drinking hibiscus tea. But inside the hibiscus tea, I would put in at least 4 other leaves, and I kept varying them. But I would put in mango leaves, orange leaves, guava, in avocado leaves. We had lemongrass. We had the mulberry, a lot of leaves. So we'd put this and have that in our tea. And also, I then also realized that bamboo leaves are really powerful. So I'd put in also bamboo leaves. So the tea was not only very tasty, because they sweeten it with either honey or jaggery, karinguru. But other people would just drink it like that. So we drank lots of that. We continue to drink it. And I believe that that really helped to build us up, because we were drinking dawa. We've been drinking lots and lots of dawa. It was our tea, but also like our drinking water.
Wow.
And we also developed a family church, a family-based church. There were 7 of us in the house, and one day of the week, there was a different person leading worship, and we would do it. We only used to have 2 meals. We realized, nobody's going to be going to work. You can't be eating 4 meals a day like you used to eat before. So we cut down our meals to 2. We'd have a brunch and then a late afternoon meal. And it was enough. It turned out to be enough. So we haven't changed anything in terms of the number of meals. Yeah. Imagine it was so beautifully.
This is so interesting. Hey. Okay, now I want to hear the story. Okay, so now, how did you get COVID-19 after speaking to it and saying you don't belong to this compound?
That was me speaking, but Yahweh's plans, which are wonderful and which are totally different from my plans, came through. We got COVID-19. One day I was speaking in church. One of the churches that I attend nowadays is run by Dr. Paul and Mary Wangai. And every Sunday morning, there's a church service that's people from all over the world, professionals actually, are members of this church. And that morning, my husband and I were speaking. And after we spoke, we were speaking about family, because we're in family life ministry. And after we spoke, we took a walk, a 10-kilometer walk. Walked, enjoyed the walk, and then came back. And then I got this symptom like I had an allergic reaction, but a very strong allergic reaction. And I was like, what? This is a strong allergic reaction. Runny nose, itchy throat, a lot of mucus. And I said, oh, what's happening? And I was feeling weak. And this was strong and sudden. And so I said, could the security guard, as he's coming in the evening, could he bring me Piriton? Because that's what I use regularly to fight allergy. And so he brought the Piriton, I took the Piriton, I slept. Woke up in the morning, I was feeling railroaded. I was feeling like a malaria train had run over me. And so I decided I couldn't get up and go anywhere. I used to sell jam by the roadside, by the way. By that time, I was selling jam by the roadside. This is now July.
Wow.
Talking about since February, we've been actually being very safe and very clean. And then we noticed that people were out with their cars selling things. And so we decided to also go out, and because I make jam, to go out by the roadside and sell jam. So that day I couldn't go and sell jam. It was a Monday. The next day I was still feeling so sick, feverish. So I couldn't go and sell jam. My nose wasn't running anymore. My throat, not anymore. I couldn't go and sell jam. And I had prayed in the night. I'd prayed a healing prayer. I had a horrible headache, and I had prayed the headache away, and it went away immediately. Then I had a sinus ache, and I touched here, and I prayed, and that went away. And then, of course, I'd had the throat thing, and I touched there, and I prayed, I touched and did a healing prayer, and it went. Then there was in the chest, and that went. Then it moved down here, and that went. Then it moved to my lower stomach, and no matter what I prayed, it didn't go. So I said, okay, maybe this is where Yahweh wants it to stay because of the way he is, because he makes his choices. He even chooses to have people in prison and in the fire, in a fire, because that's how he is, that's how he rolls. And so, but on Wednesday, all those symptoms had gone, but I was still really tired. And when I was going to bed in the evening, I decided to put eucalyptus on the pillow, my husband's pillow, and I put eucalyptus, but I couldn't smell it. And the eucalyptus drops really have a strong smell. I put and I could smell, put and I couldn't smell. And I said, hey, just a moment. And I got it to my nose and I couldn't smell it. I said, kumekudwo.
Bas.
The big one. So I said, wah. I didn't tell my husband anything. I said, wah, la, 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 la. Because earlier on I'd been smelling things and I'm like, no, I can smell everything. This is not COVID-19.
Yes.
Yeah, but now I could smell this. And so in the morning, I woke up very early as usual, sent Dr. Wangaya a message. I said, Dr. Ari, he's my family doctor. I said, Dr. Ari, I've had symptoms since Sunday. Today is Wednesday. And I cannot, no, this is now Thursday morning. In spite of these symptoms, now I cannot smell anything. And he said, oh, my dear friend, I have said a prayer for you. Go to the doctor and test for COVID-19. And I did say, am I looking at COVID-19? I said, bad. So my husband woke up and I told him as gently as I could that I've had these symptoms and Dr. has said we go and test for COVID-19. So he said, okay, I'm coming with you and I'll also test. I said, no. We're not going to waste money on any test. If I test positive, then maybe you test. But if I'm negative, there's no point in your test. Yeah. So we went to the Aga Khan, tested, it came out positive. The next day they called me, yo. Yes, that's how it came. And we don't know where COVID-19 came from. We keep on saying, could it be from the pineapple guy who sells pineapple to us? Could it be from the newspaper guy who touched the newspaper and sold the newspaper to us? Could it be from one of the people who came over to buy jam? People going to the supermarket, could be the supermarket trolley or the person who passes you in the supermarket aisle. We don't know. We don't know how I got COVID-19. But the next day after I tested, the Friday, the rest of my family tested and everybody tested positive.
Oh.
Now you ask me those questions.
Now I'm trying to imagine, how are you feeling, when you are told that you are positive? Mind you, this is something you've been praying against. You've been doing all that you can to ensure you avoid it. Know, how did you feel at that moment?
We had such a powerful growth with our fellowship and our relationship with Yahweh that when I tested positive, I completely was clear that it was within Yahweh's will. I had not one doubt that it was within Yahweh's will. And I walked in the safety of that. And the safety included, if I die, I die. if I live, I live. But it is all within how Yahweh is working with me. I must tell you, Caroline, though, when the doctor did call and said, I'm calling from the Aga Khan Hospital and you tested positive, I almost went into a panic. I said, oh no, just a moment. Let me call my husband. You tell me this while my husband is with me. And then I sat down and I said, I told my husband, they've called from the Aga Khan and they say I've tested positive. And I'd like for us to hear all this together. And then I'm a fighter. So actually, it wasn't a good time. It was a nasty fight that was coming out to attack the doctor who had given me the call. Yeah, because when the doctor said you've tested positive, I was like, oh no, just a moment. And she started giving me advice, but I wanted her to go away because all I could see was the men in moon suits, those men in those white suits coming for me. Like, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. So I was like, no, wait, just a moment. You need to talk to my doctor.
Yes.
Talk to me through my doctor. I was like my advocate, my
it's like
lawyer.
your doctor is your lawyer.
It's like my doctor is my lawyer. Don't talk to me direct because I thought people, they can get nasty on me.
Yeah.
I quickly told myself that that's the realm of Satan. His job is to create fear. He comes to steal, to kill, and
destroy.
Yes. So I pulled myself together very quickly, relaxed, and listened, and even asked questions. And I learned from the doctor, and they also said that we don't have to go in for quarantine or anything. We can be quarantined under our doctor. So we were some of the people who Yahweh brought to the place where you did not need to be quarantined away from your home.
Wow.
Taken care of by our doctor, yes.
Amen, amen. Just a moment. I hope you're still with us, dear viewer. This is a very interesting story. I don't know about you. I don't know if you've struggled to avoid COVID-19 or how you've lived your life during this season, and if you happened to have COVID-19, how was your experience? We're thinking about this, reminiscing and encouraging one another during this period. So stay with us as we continue listening and hearing from our guest as she now tells us how this period was and gives us a word of encouragement through it. So stay with us. Yes. Now you have COVID-19 and your doctor is taking care of you. How was now that treatment process? Like, what did you have to do? What did you have to go through in that season?
Caroline, the ways of Yahweh confound the wise.
Amen.
My husband was in the wise people had said he was in the most vulnerable group. Above age 60, he's male. He had an underlying medical condition. He did not even get one symptom. He was positive, COVID-19 positive, 0 symptoms. In fact, when we were cooking ugali, and we wanted to know, does it smell cooked? Because cooked ugali should smell like popcorn, shouldn't it? We couldn't tell because all our noses were blocked. But he was the one person whose nose was able to smell. So he got no symptoms. To this day, he has had no symptoms. Positive for COVID, but no symptoms. The rest of us had symptoms, but we needed no pharmaceuticals that couldn't come from the next kiosk. We only needed Piriton and Panadol.
Wow.
So we took our Piriton, we took our Panadol, and then we did mouth gargles. And that wasn't a pharmaceutical one. We used the GNLD Care. It's very good for gargling. Yeah. We use it for cleaning surfaces, and then we use it for gargling, and we use it for cleaning our hands as a disinfectant. And we also gargle salt water. So we actually didn't consume pharmaceuticals. People also ask, you know, and you could, that, okay, did you make any of those concoctions that people say you need to make and drink? We didn't, because we had been drinking them from the beginning. So we just continued drinking our drink. Yeah, but we were tired, and we were all living in one house, and my husband is not one who will is endowed with getting up and cooking. So he wasn't cooking, and he's the only one who wasn't ill. So the rest of us would have to get together and cook and serve our food. So because it was only 2 meals, we were able to cook every day and eat every day. Yeah.
Wow, that is interesting. Did you experience any stigma, you know, of any sort? Because people usually are scared of COVID-19. Those who have COVID-19 are treated like, hey, you know, you're an outcast in this society. Stay away from me. You know, did you experience stigma?
Yes, Caroline, they should be treated like that. I treated us like that. It is a very responsible thing to not stigmatize oneself, but to keep oneself separate. Within the hour of knowing that I had COVID-19, when the rest of my family were going for the test, I had told people in my WhatsApp groups, I have tested positive for COVID-19. Praise God.
Wow.
This is where I'm at. Yes. So one must manage their own information, or allow others to manage it the way they want to manage it. It's up to you. So that's why I'm even able to come here and speak to you and all the viewers, because it's okay. I got COVID-19, and I was chosen by Yahweh to have the experience that I had, because nothing surprises him. COVID-19 surprised me. But Yahweh, he was not surprised. He might not have created the storm, but he's still in charge of the storm. But you know, why would Yahweh prepare me, prepare my drinks, prepare my worship, and then allow COVID-19? Because he is marvelous and his plans are amazing. If I live, I live. If I die, I die. Yes. I mean, even the 3 children, the 3 boys of Israel, Daniel, Meshach, Abednego, they walked through the fire. People do walk through the fire. People do walk through the valley. And I think, Caroline, that I and my family were chosen for this journey at this time for the purpose of praise, nothing else.
Amen.
Yes, for the purpose of praise. We didn't even, I mean, there were no lasting injuries. We don't know. We don't know anything much about COVID-19.
Yeah. So, like,
here we are.
Did you eventually go back? Like, how long did you go back to get tested to see if you know?
After 21 days. Yes. And then we tested positive.
After 21 days, you tested.
We tested positive, apart from my husband, that one who is in that high risk group, he tested negative. The rest of us.
What are the odds?
What are the odds? So
that is yes, that is very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Dr. told us, you know what you're going to do? By that time, the government of Kenya and CDC had come up with a new protocol that said, if after 10 days you are not feeling anything, you are actually, even if you go test and they find that you are not negative, they are looking, it's more like they're looking at dead viruses. Yeah. So it had been explained to us And what was explained to us is if you don't feel anything, any symptoms, then don't waste your own time and money and the resources that the government has by going for another test. So I kept my family quarantined for another more than a week. So we were quarantined for like 40 days.
Wow.
And then, yes, I said that we are the light of the world. We are Christians. We must lead the way by doing the right thing. Because even though we have been taken through the valley of the shadow of death safely, what about people who are vulnerable and we expose them? We could be safe, but we might expose other people. So we just did not meet with anybody for 40 days. Yeah.
Hey, that is an interesting, a very interesting testimony. What could you say? Like, did you grow closer as a family during that period, and especially, closer to God during that season more than you've ever, before? Because 40 days in a house,
Yes. Caroline, even our family fellowship suffered during the time we had COVID-19. Before we had COVID-19, we were fortified and strengthened. When we had COVID-19, we were not able to do the usual church gathering that we did in the house because people were sick. Somebody's just lying down on the sofa, somebody's in their room. People just did not have the capacity to prepare the message. So what carried us through was the messages that we had had. And one really important message that I learned that time from my daughter Mitch was, she said, whatever you go through, and that's before we got COVID-19, she said, whatever you're going through, use your rear view mirror and look behind and see where Yahweh has taken you before and the goodness that he has shown you. So because we had learned lessons like that before COVID-19, by the time COVID-19 hit, I was only just looking at the rear view mirror. It was time for the Holy Spirit to take over, to pray. It was time for Yahweh to walk me through the shadow of the valley of death. I was not able to do my own walking necessarily. And also, I was able to now look in the rear view mirror and say, he has taken me through so much. He'll take me through this. And if he doesn't, it is good. He is always good.
Wow. That is such a wonderful place to be, that being as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, saying that we will stand if we are saved, even if we are not, we are standing for God, Not everyone has that, kind of strong faith. And I believe sometimes, God takes us through different situations, just like Job. And as you stand firm for God, someone else will be encouraged by your story, by your testimony, and so it's very interesting. So after you guys felt fine, you decided not to go and get tested, and
waste of money. We were given our certificates. They're prepared. After a period, it's over. The drama is over, and so you can get your certificates. So we got our certificates, and we've been able to move on with our lives, go back to doing our work. A lot of encouragement that we did get from our doctor was information that was relevant to where we were at, about letting us know that, first of all, 90% of the population will get COVID-19 and they won't even know.
Yeah.
So most of shall I say you have already
Yes.
had COVID-19. Most of you have already had COVID-19. But how do you know if you never know? If I had never tested, people get colds in their house and they will lose the sense of smell, but they're not thinking about it. But I thought about it and took the test. If I hadn't taken the test, we'd never have known. But if we'd never have known, I wouldn't have walked the powerful journey of character building and of perseverance that Yahweh has walked me and my family through. So it is good that we knew. It is good that we got to know.
Ah, this is so beautiful. Okay, just before we close, there's someone out there who probably currently has COVID-19 and is in despair, or someone who has actually even lost a loved one, from this COVID-19 season. What word of encouragement would you give someone who is in this situation and is watching right now?
I would, if somebody already has COVID-19, I would say it's highly unlikely that you'll get any sicker than you already are. Because most people are not going to get sicker. Yeah, and that is the true statistics of COVID-19. So take courage. Secondly, lean on Yahweh and trust Him. Trust Him that His plans for you are good and that He has a future and a hope for you. Yeah, so you can lean on Him. It's very difficult to trust on anybody else. A key thing that I would say, if you're a Christian, go into praise. Praise is a powerful weapon. It's a sword. It's a powerful weapon. It's something that you use to fight against Satan. And it is something that is, Yahweh inhabits the praises of His people. The Bible tells us that. And so give Him praise. Just, we are given to constantly asking, oh, Yahweh, heal me, oh, do this for me, do that for me. And it's because when the scripture about pray without ceasing is given to us, for us what we hear is beg without ceasing. Not praise without ceasing.
Yeah.
So all I'm hearing is beg without ceasing. Yeah. But we can't praise without ceasing. And it's like the evening sacrifice. It's like an incense to Yahweh. So pray, give praise without ceasing. And it's a powerful weapon. It'll make you happy. You'll really feel good, because even during that time, even though we were lying around and feeling sick, we'd get together sometimes in the same room and we're cracking jokes and laughing.
Yeah.
And we had a jolly good time even though we were sick. And we'd say, hey, we are tired. So we were tired. But we were laughing and we were praising. That we did not stop doing. Yes.
Wow.
So, yeah. Did you ask me another question?
Oh, no, I was just saying a word of encouragement for someone who, has lost a loved one.
Someone, yeah.
Yeah,
Someone who's lost a loved one. I can just say for them, may the peace of God, which passes all understanding, keep their hearts and their minds in Christ Jesus. And this is a time for mourning. There's a time for everything. And if somebody is grieving and is mourning, they actually have a right to be mourning. And it's a time for their loved ones to be with them, to grieve with them, and to mourn with them. And the joy will come in the morning. And sometimes it's very difficult to see that morning today, but it will come. Yeah, it will come. And one day, we all look back and we say, joy did come in the morning. But a time for mourning must not be undervalued.
Amen. Oh, wow. This has been such a beautiful discussion. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your testimony with us. I've had a good time. I've laughed. I've contemplated and meditated, everything, all mixed emotions.
Thank you.
You have a powerful testimony. God bless you and your family abundantly. Yeah.
Thank you. Can I share scripture?
Yes, please. Please.
Yeah. One of my favorite scriptures is Philippians 4, verse 8. I did quote verse 6 earlier on, but verse 8, it says, finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. It's very important during COVID-19 that we keep our eyes on those things. Anything less than that is just going to drag us down. COVID-19 has been one of the most special seasons of my life. I cannot change 2020 for anything. Number one, I've had a free sabbatical. I didn't even see it coming. Sabbath year. The rat race went. I got closer to Yahweh. COVID-19 came into my own household, and we saw the miraculous ways of Yahweh and how his ways confound the wise.
Amen. Wow.
So keep your eyes on this scripture.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. God bless you abundantly. Viewer back at home or wherever you're watching from, I do believe that you've been blessed, just like I have honestly been blessed. And you've had it. If focus on the things that are true, that are just, let us continue praising God in all circumstances, in all situations. God is still on the throne and he is in charge of everything that goes on in this life. So if you haven't even accepted him, accept him into your heart, into your life, and you will experience the joy of the Lord no matter what struggles or what sufferings you go through. We've had the testimony. It can happen for you as well. God bless you. Thank you for tuning in and hope to see you next time. Bye.